It's April 27th, 2023. James Corden is sitting at his desk for the last time. The final episode of The Late Late Show isn't loud or triumphant, it's soft, almost unsure of itself. The studio audience claps like they're supposed to, but there's a strange stillness between the laughs. No one's really crying, no one's really cheering, and when James leans into the mic to say goodbye, the moment feels muted. He says it's time for a new chapter. He says it's about family, but no one really believes that. Because by now, we've all seen the headlines, the backlash, the clips, the quiet blacklisting. And the question isn't why is he leaving, it's what took so long. How did someone who once made the whole internet sing along become the guy Hollywood couldn't wait to stop inviting? How did he end up banned from restaurants, dragged by coworkers, and quietly edited out of the industry? How does that guy become this guy? Let's rewind. And while we do, go ahead and subscribe. It helps more than you think. James Corden wasn't born into the spotlight. He grew up in Hazelmere, a town just outside London, the son of a social worker and a musician. No family fame, no drama school pedigree, just a kid who liked performing. In his teens, he started booking roles, small ones, a few commercials, an awkward appearance on British TV. He was the chubby, cheeky guy in the corner, the sidekick, but never the star. But that didn't stop him. And in 2007, something clicked. The British sitcom, Gavin and Stacey. That's where it all changed. James didn't just star in it. He co-wrote it with Ruth Jones, a sitcom about two ordinary people falling in love, set against the backdrop of British family chaos. It was charming, grounded, funny in a way that felt familiar. But what really stood out was Smithy. James played the loudmouthed best friend who somehow made selfishness feel lovable. The guy you rolled your eyes at, but still invited to the wedding. The show was a hit. The UK adored him. And for a while, James Corden was Smithy, the everyman, the relatable guy who got famous but never stopped being one of us. That image, it would follow him for years. From 2009 to 2015, James was everywhere. He hosted the Brit Awards. He starred in West End and Broadway productions. He won a Tony. He filmed sketch shows, voiced animated bunnies, and landed side roles in prestige films. But the real turning point? It was CBS. In 2014, The Late Late Show needed a new host. Craig Ferguson was out, and for reasons still not entirely clear, CBS took a chance on an affable, semi-famous British comic with no American following, and gave him a desk. It was weird, but it worked, sort of. Corden's version of The Late Late Show wasn't about monologues or politics. It was about viral moments, singing in cars, rap battles with celebrities, silly sketches in street crosswalks, and it hit big. Carpool Karaoke turned him into a global phenomenon. The Adele episode alone racked up over 200 million views. Justin Bieber, Michelle Obama, Stevie Wonder, BTS. It didn't matter who. People tuned in to watch James be excited, be silly, be nice. And that was the brand. James Corden was the nice guy, the cheerful, non-threatening, approachable Brit who just wanted everyone to have a good time. But here's the thing about brands. They're hard to maintain when you start believing them. And slowly, the mask began to slip. The first real public sign came in 2010, Glamour Women of the Year Awards. James was hosting, a role he'd done before, a role he usually nailed. But that night, something was off. Sir Patrick Stewart, a guest presenter, called him out in front of the entire room. Not jokingly, not playfully. He said James looked bored, hands in his pockets, acting like he didn't want to be there. James didn't laugh it off. He snapped. What followed was an awkward, tense exchange that ended with Corden mocking Stewart's delivery, and Stewart taking a dig at James's belly. The crowd laughed, but the vibe was off. Something in the air had shifted. The humility was gone. The charm was gone. James didn't just deflect criticism. He attacked it. And that instinct, the inability to accept when he'd crossed a line, would resurface again and again.
I want to speak to James here. It's James, isn't it? When the presenters are up here and when the recipients are receiving their awards, don't stand at the back of the stage with your hands in your pockets, looking around as though you wished you were anywhere but here.
Oh, you couldn't be more wrong, sir. You couldn't be more wrong. Oh, genuinely. And if it looked like that, I'm so sorry. But when you come up and present an award, just get on with it. There we go.
From where I was sitting, I can see your belly. And that was right over there at the back of the room. These people down here, you know.
Sorry, I'm waiting for the punchline. Go on. No, seriously, go on.
Okay.
No, go on. You can see my belly, and we can all see you dying right now. Let's go for it. Here we go.
One more. Do you want one more? If you fancy the Jonas Brothers, cover your belly.
By 2017, The Late Late Show was still going strong, but the team behind the scenes was telling a different story. Writers, crew members, guest coordinators, people who worked with James daily described him as irritable, short-tempered, controlling. He wasn't yelling on set, he wasn't throwing things, but he wasn't the cheerful host he pretended to be once the cameras stopped. Then came the Jimmy Kimmel moment, a fun segment, spill your guts or fill your guts. Kimmel asked James to name 2 of his own cameramen. James laughed, squirmed, then bailed. It's a different crew tonight, he said, on a show he hosted every night. It was awkward, and not in a funny way. It was the kind of moment that quietly reveals who someone really is. The audience laughed, but online people noticed. After all these years, how could he not know their names? 2020 brought another blow. A behind-the-scenes video showed James Corden and Justin Bieber mid-carpool karaoke, except James wasn't driving. The car was being towed by a truck, and suddenly, the magic was gone. It wasn't carpool karaoke, it was carpool theater. James later admitted it happened only sometimes, for safety, but it didn't matter. The segment had always been sold as spontaneous, as real. Learning that parts of it were staged, it broke the spell. And in an industry built on illusion, people hate being reminded that the illusion is fake.
A few days ago, somebody tweeted this video.
Yo, it's the Biebs! They're doing carpool karaoke.
That is so funny.
Hey, Bieber.
Who is that?
Justin Bieber.
Oh my God.
And James Corden.
I know this looks bad. But I just want to say right now that I always drive the car unless we're doing something where we think it might not be safe.
Then came the Army. No, not the military, the BTS Army. In 2021, James made a joke about BTS's speech at the UN, calling their appearance unusual and describing their fans as a bunch of 15-year-old girls. It wasn't malicious, but it wasn't smart. The BTS fandom is massive, diverse, global, and fiercely protective. They'd once called James Papa Mochi. They genuinely liked him, but after that joke, the internet turned. Fans accused him of being disrespectful, of using BTS for clout, then mocking them. He apologized, but something had changed. He was just another celebrity who didn't understand the power of what and who he was joking about. By 2019, James was big enough to do a Reddit AMA. It went badly. Fans flooded the thread with criticism, stories from people who'd waited on him, flown with him, worked on sets, tales of entitlement, public tantrums, rudeness to staff. James answered 5 questions, then left. It felt symbolic. He had nothing to say, or maybe he just didn't think it was worth engaging. But the internet remembered, because for all the singing and joking and skits, the thing that really stuck was the silence when it mattered. In 2022, James told a joke on The Late Late Show about guitar lessons and town square posters. Twitter noticed it was, word for word, a Ricky Gervais bit from Afterlife. Ricky noticed too. James said it was a mistake, that he didn't know, that a writer must have pulled it unintentionally. Fair enough, but in the context of everything else, the sketch recycling, the formulaic segments, the lack of credit, it didn't feel like an isolated accident. It felt like someone who had run out of ideas and hoped no one would notice. The real breaking point? Balthazar, a legendary restaurant in New York. James was a regular, but in 2022, the owner Keith McNally had enough. He banned James publicly, called him a tiny cretin of a man and the most abusive customer in 25 years. Over what? A hair in his wife's food, an omelet that wasn't made right. James allegedly shouted at staff, threatened bad reviews, and demanded free drinks. McNally posted the receipts, literally, and the internet, well, it didn't cancel James. It confirmed what people already suspected. James later apologized on his show, sort of. He said he didn't think he'd done anything wrong, and that he'd only realized people were upset when he read about it online. The nice guy genuinely didn't seem to understand why people were mad. By now, the comparison was everywhere. James Corden was having his Ellen moment. Same trajectory, same brand, same crash. Both had built empires on kindness. Both hosted shows that made people smile. Both built personas around the idea of being safe, wholesome, and nice. And both, eventually, were accused of being the exact opposite when the camera stopped rolling. In both cases, it wasn't one scandal. It was a pile of them. And when the illusion broke, it didn't just crack, it collapsed. Because the public can forgive a misstep, but they don't like being lied to. He left hosting The Late Late Show, saying he will spend time with his family. In April 2023, James Corden officially left The Late Late Show. He said it was to spend more time with family, to give his kids a life in the UK, to step away while things were still good. good. But the ratings had dropped, the viral clips had slowed. The network didn't replace him with another talk show. They replaced him with a game show. And that's how you know it wasn't just a farewell. It was a full stop, not a passing of the torch, a quiet turning of the page. James Corden had become expendable. Since then, not much. A few scattered appearances, a few rumors about upcoming projects, but no big comeback, no reinvention arc, no viral moment to wipe the slate clean. But here's the thing, James Corden is talented. He can act, he can sing, he can be funny. He earned much of what he achieved. This isn't the story of someone who faked their way to the top. It's the story of someone who let the performance take over. He didn't fall because of one bad joke, or one bad night at a restaurant, or one Reddit thread gone wrong. He fell because all those moments started to look like the truth. He kept telling us he was the nice guy, but the people around him kept saying otherwise. And in the end, we believed them. So what does this story really say about James? So was it all hype or something more? Let me know in the comments and subscribe to the Celeb Spring, because fame fades fast, but we're just getting started.